The Army has a new strategy for regaining Arctic dominance. The force will focus on a new multi-domain enabled headquarters and improved training for forces operating in the Arctic region. Elizabeth Felling is strategic planner in the Army G357. Elizabeth, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. What are some of the most important objectives for the Army's Arctic strategy?
Thank you, Francis. Happy to be here and happy to have this opportunity to talk about the new Arctic strategy. With this strategy, we see some of the most important things being a Title X service organization. How do we man, train, and equip our Army forces to be able to compete and operate in an Arctic region, which has unique characteristics? It's an environment in which we have to train our soldiers to be able to operate and survive. But it's also a domain where we have to have the appropriate posture and equipment and facilities to be able to support that training and operations.
What's the intersection with the Army's new Arctic strategy and the broader Defense Department strategy and your partners in the other services, Elizabeth?
So we see the Army's Arctic strategy as being well nested within the DoD strategy and supports the objectives of being able to ensure that it remains a domain that is free and open to all of nations and that it remains an area free from conflict. However, we do realize that with the changing environment and the changing nature of the Arctic region, along with the strategies of the Air Force and the Navy, the Army as the land force component offers a significant capability to the Arctic to operate and support those strategies and their implementation, as well as our own.
You said recently there are a number of training areas that provide a great opportunity to do training in Alaska. What are those opportunities and how do they fit the strategy that you're undertaking, Elizabeth?
So, as we say, we're trying to build an Arctic ethos because you cannot, due to the nature of the Arctic, it's very challenging. And so we cannot simply take soldiers from other parts of the country, place them up there without appropriate training and equipment and expect them to be successful. So focusing those Arctic forces that we have in Alaska on how to succeed in cold weather environments using those training areas such as the Northern Warfare Training Center, which is the Army's proponent for cold weather training, and also working with our joint partners at facilities that offer great opportunities such as the Joint Pacific Alaska Range Complex. We can really dive into and improve how we train our forces to make sure that they can successfully operate in the region.
We've talked on this program at great length, Elizabeth, about the changing environment in Alaska, how climate change is impacting that region. We've talked about the increased activity of great power competitors in that part of the world. How has all of that affected the way that that the Army's Arctic strategy has evolved?
So it has significantly impacted it. Look at the Army senior leaders looking at the changing nature of the Arctic and the environmental impact on future infrastructure and the challenges that that poses. We do have an installation strategy as well. And so this really nests nicely with initiatives that we're utilizing or we're trying to undertake in that strategy. But also, as the environment shifts, we need to be able to anticipate the changes and the impacts on the infrastructure that we have in Alaska so that we can ensure the facilities, to include training facilities where we house soldiers, families, and civilians that work up there to really support quality of life improvements. That's the Chief's number one objectives. People are our priority. And so a significant part of that is providing them equipment that functions in the Arctic so they can get meaningful training and provide a purpose to why they're there. And also the family and morale aspect to have facilities that can support them. So improving those facilities over time as they're impacted by climate is a major objective in this strategy.
Elizabeth, this strategy references allies and partners. The obvious ones are Canada and the Scandinavian countries. Are there others? Are there other countries that we look to for help and partnership in that region?
So the Arctic being a circumpolar region of the world, obviously Canada, the Nordic countries, we have significant conversations from U.S. Army Europe with those partners as well on training and infrastructure and how they do things. But also there are other countries that could offer how to better improve our mountain training, given the severe changes in topography in Alaska and other Arctic regions. So our intent is to engage bilaterally and multilaterally with nations that can provide and share lessons back and forth and conduct exercises with those partners so that we can both improve our ability, because strengthening alliances and partnerships is, it works both ways. So what we work together and we train together, we learn something and then our partners learn something as well. And then together we can operate better, and it just benefits everyone.
How will you measure success of this strategy in the out years, Elizabeth?
I view success of this strategy by improving the training quality and the equipping quality of our forces in Alaska, and their training quality. That is the initial mark of success, I think, for any Title X organization: man, train, and equip, and so that we can do that and successfully operate.
Elizabeth Felling, thanks very much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for the time.